Hello, and welcome back to Kentucky Garden Gal. This is Nancy, and this is gardening tips for the month of April. One of the things I want to address today is the damage that we had in the very hard freeze right before Christmas. Now, some of my things are coming back. This is a burning bush, and as you can see, there is life in it. It looks like it's going to come back. It's going to be fine. You see the oak leaf hydrangeas. These are budding back. But look at the little Mandinas. They just have not shown any signs of life yet. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to give them just a little bit more time and see if I see any signs of life. And then if I don't, I'll probably give them at least 3 months before I decide to yank those out and put something else in. Now you can see that the hostas and the daylilies are coming up. This is an excellent time. There's some sedum back there. This is an excellent time to dig up. Actually, you don't have to dig them up. You can take a fork and you can just separate that hosta. You can dig up. See how these daylilies have sort of spread over into this area? You can dig up all of these extra daylilies. You can either gift them to your friends or you can start another flower bed. One of the things that we can work on in April are our weeds. Look at all the weeds. You can tell the flower beds that I have been in and the ones that I haven't, because the ones I haven't been in, the weeds have just really taken over. You can see the coneflower is starting to come back there, but look at all the weeds. Always try to get in and get the weeds out, get the dead leaves out. And if you're going to mulch, now's a good time to add your mulch to your garden. Have you thought about starting a compost pile? Now's a great time, and as you can see, I just started a little area here. I am going to take some chicken wire and put around this to sort of contain it, but it's where I have mowed the grass. I had some old soil in some containers. I picked up some limbs, and I will put the chart up of what you can and can't put into a compost pile. But remember, when you start your compost pile, you want to keep it wet, because that water, and then if you have something that you can put over it, like a black piece of plastic, it just helps everything to break down a little bit faster. Thinking about putting in some raised beds, I happened to replace these with some wooden boxes that were just completely broken down. A friend of mine gave me these tubs, and as you can see, I have straw in here. So what I will do, I will finish filling this up with compost. I think I found a good supplier for compost. So I will get my compost, I'll test it out, make sure it's good compost, and then I'll put this in and start filling it up with veggies. You are probably seeing the garden centers start to fill up, and most of these are annuals. Now, I will not put anything out until the 15th of April. And then, even then, I will make sure and watch the night temperatures. But now is a fun time to visit the nurseries, and you can bring your annuals back and put them somewhere where they're not in direct sun. And in my case, I thought this lobelia didn't look really great, but I was glad I found it. So I'm actually going to be feeding this with Miracle-Gro about once a week, and by the time I get ready to put it in my containers, it should be looking pretty good. Perhaps you thought about adding some chickens to your backyard, and now is the time that you are going to see the little chicks showing up at your local Tractor Supply place or Rural King. So yesterday I happened to find these. These are Isa Browns, and these are sexed, which means that I know that these are all females. These are all chickens. I can't have roosters inside the city limits, so these are my little Isa Browns that I got yesterday. The little chicks are cute and they're sweet, but they don't stay little for long, so make sure that you have a good and safe place for your chickens to go. Ideally, something that is predator proof. You want a place for your chickens to be able to lay eggs. You want them to have something to roost on, something to put their food in, and something for their water to go in. Now, I also happen to start a compost pile in the chicken coop, and it's just working out great because the chickens love to scratch, so they get right in there and they just scratch right along. And I have been fortunate enough to source some good chicken feed from a local Amish man up in a different county. So we go up there and get our chicken feed, and then I keep straw in the actual coop, and they just seem happy and content. April is the time of year when you can directly sow your hardy plants like corn, broccoli, beets, kale, green onions, sweet peas, bell pepper, and spinach. You can also finish up your last minute seed shopping. April is also the perfect month to plant your asparagus crowns and things like the Jerusalem artichokes that you see here. If you do not get your asparagus in the ground in April, then you're going to have to wait until September. So if that's something that's on your list, you might want to go ahead and make sure that you have those and get those planted where you want them. I feel pretty safe with planting things like pansies in April. If I have other plants that I'm wanting to put out, like my containers, I usually wait until at least the 15th, maybe a little bit later. And if you do have something that you got out, make sure that you have something to cover it with, and that you are watching the temperatures at night. And anytime it gets below freezing, you want to make sure that you provide your plants some heat. So I hope that these tips have helped you. I hope that you're gearing up for a great 2023 gardening season. I appreciate everyone watching, and we'll see you on Thursday.